What's up, everybody? We were just so excited to get the interview going. There you go. I'm Nicky Trendz.
And I'm Manny Oso.
And you guys are listening to Bubble Bath Stories. And this is actually our first guest of the new season.
Yes.
So this is an incredible honor for you, but also an incredible honor for us. Our guest is not only a wonderful mom and wife and children's author, by the way, she is also my big sister. So please welcome to the podcast, author of Tony and His Mythical Friends, Jessica Valentin.
Hello. Thank you
Hi.
for having me. This is my first podcast interview.
I mean, and I really had to twist your arm about it. I didn't even ask. I just very promptly told you are going to be on our podcast.
Yeah, there was a lot of behind the scene preparation that I'm not used to.
I already put it on IG stories. So let's kick things off because I know you're super busy. You got 3 daughters, all in different activities. So let's kick things off. Tony and His Mythical Friends. I mean, where did this when?
Yeah, where'd you come up with the idea for this?
Yeah.
Well, it happened on a car ride to a pediatrician appointment with my twin daughter. And she was 9 at the time, and she is the artist in the family. Well, besides her father, he dabbles a little, but she's the artist. And she always liked to draw, and she always liked to write stories as far as I could remember her even writing. So anyway, we were talking, and I was like, Isabella, what kind of, book story characters do you love? She's like, Mom, I love unicorns, I love mermaids. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we should do a story. I could help you, Isabel. We could do it together. And she's like, oh, I don't really want to write. I like to draw. I'm like, okay, so I'll do the story. You draw the characters. And we started discussing the types of mythical creatures that are represented in this children's adventure book genre in the bookstores, and we just discovered there isn't a group of friends of different mythical creatures all in one book. That was something that was not represented, and I was like, that would be perfect. We should set up a group of friends. And by the end of the car ride, we came home and we already knew the 6 mythical creatures that were going to be friends in the story. Once we got home, we gave the idea to the rest of the family, and it became a family affair. My husband right away said, they need a human friend, and his name would be Tony, which obviously Anthony, it's short for Anthony, which is my husband, who doesn't have many friends, so I gave him 6 friends right off the bat.
I mean, but he's really big into, I know that he is big into Bigfoot and all those different
that we had to have a Bigfoot, of course. But the most important thing about the friends, the most important thing was that I wanted them to be relatable to children. I wanted them to be childlike, because in most mythical stories that are beyond, the typical dragon or the unicorn or the mermaid for children, they're usually scary, especially a cyclops. And so I just wanted them to be friendly. But Isabella went to work right away on the sketches. She brought them to life on the page, which we loved. And so now I had Tony and I had mythical friends. So now I was able to put the story together. And that's how it came about. I try to make it simple, but also put in a couple of little nuances that adults might capture, and then some things that kids would pick up on. And so that if the parents were reading it to the kids, they would, or the teachers, that they would enjoy the little nuances for adults as well.
That's amazing.
Give us an example of one of them.
One of them is, without giving too much away to some of your viewers that might buy it for their children, some adults would pick up on the way that the story ends, the realization that Tony has about the situation.
I told you.
It sounds very familiar to a very, very famous movie.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not going to give it away either, because I was actually bringing it up. We were talking. I was like, "Oh my god, I just got it."
So I know that you first of all, when you first told the family about this, everybody was like taken back that you decided to do this. We're like, "Why, you wrote a book? That's crazy."
We read a book.
Then we read it, and I was like, "Okay, but what now? Like, what happens next?" And you went right away into writing the second book, and you talk about the representation within the creatures, because I know in the second book you introduce different mythical creatures, but I know they have certain character traits that may relate to children who are reading it. So talk a little bit about why that was important to include.
Well, every story will have the core group of friends and Tony. And that's why it is always titled Tony and His Mythical Friends. But I'm always introducing new mythical creatures. And in that introduction, we are always trying to discuss or just allude to certain social situations that children might have.
Right.
You know, and that they could pick up on and say, hey, I actually experienced that, or I know someone who's like that. Or and then what happens is Tony, with his interpersonal loving and kindness and accepting personality traits that he is able to help the different creatures with their social inequity, so to speak, or just like they're just little things that he helps them fix.
Oh, Tony.
How important was it for you to have him go to not Mexico, to Puerto Rico for the second book?
He's trying to give you a hint about the third book.
Well, I honestly did. And I'm not sure if I will, and who knows, because the road is endless with the series. So I wanted to actually start it at the Sequoia National Forest, only because personally I would love to visit there, and I've never visited. So I wanted that as a backdrop.
Yeah.
So my husband suggested, why don't we do Puerto Rico? And I said, you know what, that sounds just as nice, but we're in Puerto Rico. And then we said, hey, that's perfect. It's actually, El Yunque is a U.S. national forest. It so ties into what I wanted to do, and why not? A lot of people may see my last name, and unless you're of Hispanic descent or Latin or know the origins of last names, may not even pick up that I'm Hispanic. So I wanted that to show right off the bat. And I want people to know Tony's Hispanic, which was also what we wanted to make sure we represented in the second book, because not too much is discussed about Tony's background. So as each book goes on, we give a little bit more, and a little bit more about him personally.
That's great, because you're going to develop it a little more.
Yes.
More and more. That's cool.
I also plan on leveling up the book to middle grade readers. So as the creatures grow and Tony grows into middle grade, they have different adventures. So that is in the pipeline. Yes.
He was just talking about that earlier too, because he's like, is she going to do chapter books? And
yes,
so you are.
We are doing middle grade chapter books.
Like young adult chapter books.
Yes.
So we talk about Tony and like really showing his background. And I remember in the first book, you had this kind of revelation in regards to like who the hero is of the book. And I know it was supposed to be a male creature, and you actually switched it to a female creature. Why was that?
Because I'll tell you specifically when the light bulb turned on and I said, oh, I have to change this. I remember Reese Witherspoon discussing before she started her production company how most of the roles that she ever auditioned for, or any books that she read, always had the female in a
damsel
in distress position. And she wanted roles, and she wanted to read books where the female is like, I know what to do. Let's do this. This is, in a stronger, more assertive, more decisive role. And that shifted things for me in Tony and His Mythical Friends in the first one, where I was trying to make Tony the problem solver of everything, but he didn't have to be. And that's where Siley comes in, and she shows her strength and leadership within her specific core group. And that just changed everything for us.
Okay,
especially
Reese
with the
Witherspoon. You hear that? We
yes,
listening. Reese
yeah, I will never forget
Witherspoon.
that. I was like,
Reese.
and you know what? I actually did write in the book. I did the manuscript did show originally Siley saying, "What do we do? What should we do now?"
Mm.
And when
How
I read, I
did
was like, "Oh my gosh, she's right!" And so I changed it.
how did Anthony feel after finding out he's not going to be the hero now?
It's okay as long as it's titled Tony and his mythical friends. He's fine.
So I know in the second book, it's all about, Tony loses his dog Boomer, which is actually your pet, your dog, who is actually
Yes,
named Boomer.
yes.
Why did you tie that into there?
Well, because it was a family affair in the first book with the participation of the family, and I wanted the our dog to live forever in a sense, and you know how
Oh,
pets are, but
yeah.
anyway, he's really good. We love him so much. And this is his way of being part of the legacy of the book. So I had to put him in this time.
Oh, well, okay. So he's been to Sequoia Park. I'm guessing that's where the first one was.
Well, no, the first, no, no, the reason why the Sequoia Park was what was going to be the backdrop for book two, but I changed it to Puerto Rico. But
Gotcha.
we will visit that in a different adventure.
So does the first one take place in a specific park that you know of?
It isn't, no, that one is just a made up, imaginary
That's
place
for
where
the book.
it's just a made up campsite.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I didn't
I guess my
really
question is,
have that decided right then.
where's Tony's parents when he's going on these adventures?
Well, in the first book, he goes to camp. So he does have a camp leader and it is supervised and it is chaperoned. The second one, he's with his mom. He goes to Puerto Rico with his mom. So he
Aw.
is chaperoned at all times, in a sense, with an adult.
Gotcha.
Where do you see this series like taking off for you?
Oh,
Like,
endless, endless. Tony and his mythical friends will celebrate Christmas. They will have birthday parties. They will, Easter, summer vacation, winter, sports, just endless for the children. That isn't on the children's genre. And then as we go into the middle grade, we are going to tap into more situational things. We
mm,
are going to delve into each character and their background as a mythical creature and their dynamics of their family and how that works. So it's going to be endless.
Well, let me ask you: is this series and this story the only one that you have plans on doing, or do you have plans on other stories from other different types of characters?
Um, I'll be adding new mythical creatures to every book. So that will bring in their own story. But as far as something totally different, yeah, I have some ideas. I have ideas for pilots. I have ideas for screenplays. I have ideas for lots of different things, but it's a lot of time.
listen, I've already told her I want a role in the cartoon. I even dressed up. Well, obviously we'll post this. I
Yes,
dressed up as Tony for Halloween, and I
the
killed
best.
it. I
You have to show
killed
that.
it.
You have to show
Okay,
that. The best costume of
so
2020.
Well,
you know.
I'm still waiting for Tony to meet a wizard and get all his
Speaking
It,
of wizards, how do you go about picking the mythical
Yeah, how do you go
creatures?
about picking the
I
creatures?
talk to the girls.
Uh,
I talk to my girls. It's very simple. What's the next mythical creature? What do you think his social issue should be, or his little quirk, so to
yeah.
speak? What do you think it should be? And I do discuss it with them, and
What's the
sometimes that leads to stories.
what's the strangest creature they pitched to you? Like
Well,
Spider-Man?
well, we were discussing a griffin the other day. A griffin,
Oh.
yes. So,
Ooh, that's a good
Tony
one.
yeah,
goes to Egypt.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
You never know.
Well, I have to assume the creature now that they meet, he's got to go. I wonder how he's going to meet him. That's what I'm wondering.
That's always that's always pivotal in
Yeah.
every one of the stories, in every one of the books. And I like to make it so that we're not sure. You're not sure if it's real or if it's not real, and you need to finish reading the entire book to know what's happening.
I will say, after reading the first one, I was like, I wanted more because I even called you and I was like, you need to explain this ending to me because this is what my theory was,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
I
You're like,
like
oh
that.
no. What is it like for you? I know you've done a couple of live readings with some classrooms. What is it like to be on that end, to not read somebody else's story to class, but to read something that was a labor of your love?
I love
What is
it.
that like for you?
I'm fascinated with what the kids what they tie into from the story, what they pick up from the story. Each kid picks up something different. Which characters they relate to more. Which ones are their favorites? I love to hear all that insight because that helps with character development. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you know what kids are tapping into and what they're really absorbing from the different characters, you can develop that more, and they could have a tighter relationship. It's all about series reading. Like when I was a kid, I never read any series books, and there's no reason why a picture book for children can't be a series where it continues. You follow them, and that's what I want the kids to learn, how to follow the series. So that would be nice.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so proud. I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I will. Last question. I know that. I mean, just talking with you, I know this has been all brand new to you. What?
Everything.
I mean, what would you advise somebody, especially like moms? I feel like get lost in like what their passions are because you're busy raising kids and keeping households. What do you say to people out there who are moms who have kids who want to achieve something outside of that, but are finding it difficult timing and resources and things like that? What's maybe some advice you have for them?
Yeah.
What I would say is, if you have a strong passion for it, just just go for it. There's so many resources and so many people that could help you, so many people on the same level that you are, so many people who have gone from beginning to end and where you want to go, so they can tell you where the pitfalls are versus where the successes are, where the focus should be and where it shouldn't be. A lot of times, you think something should go a certain way. In terms of book marketing, for me, and promotion, a lot of it is social media, and a lot of social media is helping everyone to boost their product. And so, there
That's the
goes
start.
Boomer.
Yeah.
Boomer agrees.
We found
Boomer
one. Yeah.
agrees. So, there's a lot of help out there for anyone who wants to start an adventure, a personal adventure of their own.
Let me ask.
Promoting a product.
Yeah.
How long ago was that car ride? Where you
I'm sorry,
guys?
what?
How long ago was that car ride where you guys first came with the idea?
That 3 years. It was 3 years ago. We started the process of the book in 2019. And what I wanted to do as far as the illustrations were very important. Obviously, my daughter was 9, so for her to illustrate cartoons at this level,
Yeah.
illustrations at this level was too advanced for her. But she was the inspiration for the illustrator. So the illustrator saw her
Yes.
sketch. And so to me, it was important for my daughters to see the process, that it is possible, that they can have an idea that starts with a pencil and a paper, and we can create something tangible that can be something that's for your own legacy, your own, something that's yours.
That's
And
great.
so I was able to find a local artist, and she's been phenomenal. Stephanie is amazing. She always knows exactly how we want things to look. Sometimes we just shoot out, hey, we're looking for this to be in the picture, and she pulls it all together. She's amazing.
Oh, okay. Trying so hard not to cry right now. I'm so proud of you. All right. Well, before I start crying and before the star of the second book, Boomer, goes crazy, let's end it on this note. But let people know, one, where they can find your books and where they can keep up with Tony and all his friends.
Yes. So our book is independently published on Amazon.com. And so that's where you could find it. There's a link on my IG at Tony and His Mythical Friends. I'm also on Facebook, Tony and His Mythical Friends by Jessica Valentin. And then we're on Twitter, and it's at capital T, capital M for Mythical. So it's the whole word Mythical. And then capital FRNDS. And where I'm showing updates all the time on what's going on, any kind of publications that we have pertaining to our book, just what's going on lately. And the website is actually under construction. So if you go to TonyandHisMythicalFriends.com, it does say under construction, but it is coming around soon. So.
Oh my God, guys, this is the first time I'm hearing about a website.
Yeah, and that's a whole other class 101 on web page design that it's a pool that I dove into, and I'm swimming, and I'm just trying to keep my head above it.
And guys, don't worry. We'll obviously have all this information on our page, which is Bubble Bath Stories on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So you'll definitely have a direct way to get your copies. Get your copies.
Yes.
And if you want to find me on Instagram, it's at Nicky Trendz.
You want to find me on Instagram? It's I got no time for this.
And Jessica, thank you so much for participating.
Thank you, Sissy. Thank you, Manny.
You did a wonderul job. So
Thank
I can't wait to show this to the world and get more people to read this book, because I thoroughly enjoyed the first one and I have to get my copy of the second one. All right. Until next time, guys, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
See y'all
Bye.
soon.
Bye.